Welcome to the ABCs of Real Estate, your semi-monthly real estate show that goes over the A to Z terms of a real estate transaction. My name's Ryan.
And I'm Courtney.
Courtney, what letter are we going over today?
Today we are going over the letter J, which stands for Just Breathe.
There's many points in a transaction where it's basically like a roller coaster. You're gonna have times where you're up and you're happy, and there's gonna be times where you're down. And those down points are where we're gonna have to remind you to just breathe.
Exactly.
Courtney, what's going on with buyers?
So as a buyer, we know the first step generally is to not only get pre-approved, but after that is to go house hunting.
Yes.
We love this part. It's fun and exciting, but we know there's times while you're house hunting that it can be a little overwhelming, whether that's just a little. Whether that's the inventory is low and you feel like you just can't find that perfect house, or maybe there's too much inventory and you don't know which one to decide between. That's definitely a time that we're going to remind you to just breathe. It'll all work out, and we'll help guide you through everything.
Yeah, and then the same for sellers. So at the time of after you list your home, it's not really just a sign a piece of paper and stick a sign in the front yard. There's a lot that needs to be done on both our side and the seller side. Sellers sometimes have to prepare their property to list. So we like to call it property prep. But yeah, so do all the doors in the house need to be repainted? Do hinges need to be changed out? Does the exterior landscaping need to be refreshed?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that a seller might not have to do, but we're obviously going to recommend, and could sometimes, depending on the property, feel like a lot, but we want the maximum amount of profit out of your property so that you can take that money and invest it into something else.
Yes.
So just another point in the transaction for a seller where you're going to have to remind yourself to just breathe.
Exactly. The next step we would suggest breathing through is that negotiation period.
Yes.
So as either a buyer or a seller, you know that you're working with two different parties to try to come to one agreed price point, which can sometimes get a little frustrating if you see the value at one number and the other party sees the value at another number. In the end, at the end of the day, you don't have to buy the home, and you can walk away and keep searching. So this is a good time to just breathe and know that it's either going to come together or it's not.
Another point of meeting of the heads of buyers and sellers, and a time to remind yourself to just breathe, is the inspections, right? So you have a buyer who's found their dream home and loves their dream home, and then you hire people, you actually pay them money to tell you everything that's wrong with that home.
It's very emotional.
Very emotional, right? And then you have buyers or sellers who have possibly been in a home for 5, 10, 15, 30 years, who aren't aware of a lot of these defects because that's just how their house is. Mm-hmm. So all these material facts are now going to be present to everyone, and it could be an emotional time when that comes to that.
And it goes back to that second part of negotiations where the buyer has the opportunity to present the seller with a request for repair or a credit. So again, same like the price point, two parties are trying to come to one agreement, whether that's a repair request or a credit request. We just want to remind you to just breathe, because again, at the end of the day, both parties are trying to have the same outcome and move forward with the transaction.
Yeah. And that's really it from us on the Just Breathe and the J letter.
Yes.
But stick around, remember to just breathe, and stay tuned for our next episode, K. It's pretty killer.
Have a good day.
Bye, you guys.